We are the Eternals. The Avengers have Thor, Spider-Man. But we have Athena.
I'm sure that was a lot of fun for you.
It was.
In 10 days,
Eternals assemble. Great line.
experience the Marvel Cinematic Event. Centuries in the making.
Dad, I saw him on TV with the cape shooting laser beams.
I don't wear a cape.
Listen. It has begun. It is time.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my new Marvel Eternals trailer video. They just dropped a bunch of new footage talking about the Avengers. I'll explain how this sort of connects with the other Marvel movies and the other Avengers characters in present day. We're doing a giveaway for movie tickets and Disney Plus memberships. All you have to do to enter is just be a subscriber and post all your theories about the movie on the video. If you have had a chance to see the movie, because it has been screening a couple places a couple days early, please do not post spoilers on this video, though. I've already posted my review video for the movie, so I'll add a link for that down in the description below if you have not watched that yet. My videos for the post-credit scenes, my full breakdown Easter eggs videos for the entire movie will start posting next week after the movie does come out everywhere, so be sure to go see it when you have the chance. But in the new trailer footage, Kingo's talking about the Avengers, about Spider-Man, Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, the Hulk, all the most popular Avengers, comparing them to the fellow Eternals team members, trying to hype them up. The person holding the camera who he's talking to is his assistant, Karun, like they're in the middle of a road trip doing their big Avengers Assemble with the Eternals team, putting the team back together. It's all because Kingo is trying to make a documentary movie about the Eternals, what their mission is, what they've been doing for the past 7,000 years to guide humanity and help them evolve over time, so that the present-day world after Avengers Endgame, like everybody in present day, will know them as well as they know the Avengers characters. There's still a little confusion about this too, like who knows what in Earth after Avengers Endgame? Do regular people know everything that happened? Do they know about Thanos? Do they know what the Avengers did? Do they know about their time heist mission? So if you didn't realize, the world knows who pretty much all the Avengers are. Like Spider-Man, for instance, is a good example because he just got doxxed by Mysterio, so everyone knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man now. But even before that, the entire planet, for the most part, at least anybody with a screen or anybody that watches the news, knew that Spider-Man was on the Avengers team and helped save the universe. During the Falcon and Winter Soldier episodes, they also clarify with a couple details. They go to the Smithsonian exhibit for Captain America in World War II. When Falcon is walking around with War Machine and they're kind of talking about the legacy of Captain America and why Falcon didn't initially take up the shield, they pass by a new part of Captain America's exhibit, like they've added to it after the events of Avengers Endgame. In that part of the exhibit explains all of Captain America's history through Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, including the time heist. Like on the exhibit, it literally says "the plan," and that's basically a reference to the time heist mission. So most casual people that just watch the news, walk around, or have visited the Smithsonian exhibit know that time travel exists. And also during Spider-Man Far From Home, you notice that there are a bunch of movies on the plane when Spider-Man is just queuing up what he's going to do while they're all flying to Europe. There's a bunch of cheesy in-universe movies made about the Avengers characters, like there's a movie about Iron Man, there's a movie about the other Avengers characters. So within the world of the MCU, they're also making fictitious movies about these characters, based on the events of all the Avengers movies. So all the Avengers are pop culture icons. That's why they become such shorthand with a lot of these new movies. Even during the Shang movie, they spent a lot of time early in the movie casually referencing Thanos, the Infinity Gauntlet, and the Snap in the Blip. They also kind of turned it into a joke during the beginning of Spider-Man Far From Home with that high school news broadcast. But during the Eternals movie, in present day, after Avengers Endgame, this is taking place right around the same time that Spider-Man Far From Home is taking place, and at this point in history, nobody knows who the Eternals is. They've completely forgotten about them because they've all gone to ground for about the past 5,000 years. So Kingo isn't clout chasing or anything like that, even though they use him for a lot of comedic relief in the movie. He genuinely wants to educate the world on how big a deal the Eternals are. While most of the other Eternals are 50-50 on whether or not they want any kind of recognition, because for about 90% of the movie, they're still meant to be abiding by the terms of their mission to guard this celestial egg that's growing inside Earth and stop the deviants from messing with the Celestials' plan. But one of the reasons why they've been so quiet for the past 5,000 years is because there haven't been any big deviant attacks, and they have not been contacted by the Celestials. It's the same relationship that the Celestials have with eternity, talking about big cosmic concepts. So if you're not familiar with the Celestials, they're created by eternity after eternity is born during the Big Bang. Eternity is like the living embodiment, the living consciousness of the universe itself. But the whole idea is that when eternity creates the Celestials, the celestial hosts like Arishem the Judge, Jemiah the Analyzer, the other Celestials, Eson the Searcher, even Ego the Living Planet, is that it doesn't police their actions. It just creates them for the general purpose of experimenting with life around the universe. In the past, I made the comparison to the God Hand from the Berserk manga. They're just sort of left to do what they feel like doing with nobody to police them, like who watches the Watchmen. So it's almost like eternity effectively abandons the Celestials, like they can do no wrong. Like it's not like eternity is going to show up and tell them not to do something. So they're not really meant to be evil or good characters. They just go around experimenting with life, trying to create more Celestials, trying to create races, and when they feel like their experiments don't go the way they want them to, they basically wipe them. Like that's what this scene of Eson the Searcher in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie is all about. This is basically them wiping an experiment, wiping a planet full of life that they've deemed has not panned out the way they wanted it to. You could also make the Loki comparison from Avengers, ants quarreling with the boot. Like the people who are getting crushed or wiped out think that the Celestials are evil, but the Celestials themselves aren't meant to be good or evil. They're just this god-tier group with crazy cosmic powers.
And the universe shudders and shifts. Halfway across the Milky Way, Galactus pauses. The universe echoes in a way he thought he would never feel again. And Galactus remembers what it is to be afraid.
And during the Eternals movie, the Eternals' relationship with the Celestials is a lot like the Celestials' relationship with eternity, in that the Celestials basically create them for this task to help basically usher in this brand new Celestial that's growing on Earth, but they don't check in with them all the time, so it kind of feels like they've been abandoned, which is why a lot of the Eternals have gone to ground for the past 5,000 years. There's a couple trailer scenes that sort of show you them talking to the Celestials, but it's usually only one Eternal at any given time that has the ability to communicate with Arishem the Judge and the Celestial host. You see him manifest above the planet just to give you a good idea of the scale, like this is how big he is, using his celestial technology to effectively teleport himself across the universe, then communicating with Ajax's character. But now that they're no longer bound by their edict to not interfere with human affairs, like that's off the table, it sets the stage for them to approach the Avengers before Avengers 5 as a new team begins to form. But not every single Eternals character is going to be in Avengers 5, or part of the Avengers crossovers when they cross over in other movies before that. The Shang-Chi post-credit scene is a good example of that. Spoiler warning for the Shang-Chi post-credit scene if you have not seen that movie yet. I think most everybody's seen it by now. But during the post-credit scene, there's a couple of them discussing plot that will affect Avengers 5, as well as other future movies, but there are only a couple of the Avengers there for the meeting. Like the Hulk, Captain Marvel, Wong is kind of like an honorary member of the Avengers. There is a big question about how big the Avengers team is now. The real Avengers are kind of like the core team, and usually that's between 6 and 10 members at any given time, and they'll probably start with a smaller team again and slowly ramp up again. Also, I think the idea that they'll get into with more sequels in the future is the idea about the Eternals from other planets, like the Eternals from Thanos' home planet Titan are a good example. There are other Eternals like them out there in the universe on other planets on the similar types of missions. And for those of you asking how this movie sort of connects with Thor Love and Thunder, the other movies that are coming up after this, even Spider-Man No Way Home, like I said before, this movie takes place around the same time as Spider-Man Far From Home, but the present-day timeline takes place over a single week, over that 7-day period to the emergence is going to happen. So I would put the ending of the Eternals movie around the time where Spider-Man is getting doxxed by Mysterio and J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man Far From Home. I believe Thor Love and Thunder is also supposed to take place right around the end of the Eternals movie, around the same time Spider-Man No Way Home is getting started. The Asgardians, for instance, would also be affected by Doctor Strange's spell. They would also forget about Spider-Man, or the ones that actually met Spider-Man or saw Spider-Man. But because Christian Bale is playing Gore the God Butcher, some of you have started to ask now too, if Gore the God Butcher is going around killing gods all over the Marvel Universe, greater gods, lesser gods, anybody that calls himself a god, does that mean that Gore would also come for the Eternals characters or even the Celestials? My early theory is that yes, eventually he would come for the Eternals characters. He wouldn't be powerful enough to kill any of the Celestials until he created a version of the God Bomb from the comics, or got like a power upgrade on top of the Necro Sword. Like that by itself wouldn't be enough to kill one of the Celestials. But they're not going to be doing the exact same comic book Gore storyline. They'll be changing him just a little bit for the MCU. If you have any big questions about what's going on with the Eternals characters or any questions about the cosmic mythology, just write them below in the comments. My full post-credit scene video, full breakdown, Easter eggs videos will start posting next week after the movie comes out. And there's supposed to be a new Morbius trailer, I'm sure with plenty more Spider-Man Easter eggs, on Tuesday next week. If they do wind up releasing it, of course I'll do a video for it. Make sure you have alerts enabled for my channel so you don't miss that. Congratulations, Life of Nate, you're the giveaway winner from my last big Marvel video. Please email me on my website so I can get your details. There's a link for that in the video description below. The giveaway will also continue in all my Marvel videos through the end of the year as well in Spider-Man No Way Home. Everyone click here for my brand new What If Season 2 teaser trailer video to learn about the new episodes, and click here for my new Spider-Man No Way Home preview of the Sinister Six characters. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.